Russia has launched a advanced ICBM test missile. A few weeks after suspending participation in the last remaining nuclear arms control pact with the United States, Russia conducted what it called a successful test launch of a advanced intercontinental ballistic missile ICBM. An intercontinental ballistic missile of a mobile ground-based missile system was successfully launched by a combat crew from Russia's Kapustin Yar test site on Tuesday, according to the country's defense ministry. The training warhead of the missile was able to accurately hit a dummy target at the Sari-Shagan training ground in the Republic of Kazakhstan, it said. Since he first sent troops into Ukraine in February 2022, Russian President Vladimir Putin has hinted, in increasingly oblique terms, that he would not hesitate to use nuclear weapons there if Moscow were ever seriously threatened. Putin announced Russia's withdrawal from the New START treaty at the end of February. This agreement required Russia and the United States to reduce their nuclear arsenals and submit to mutual inspections. Putin has threatened to station nuclear weapons in Belarus, a close ally and neighbor, bringing them to the very doorstep of the European Union less than 3 weeks ago. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization has expressed its disapproval of both actions. However, the Defense Ministry did say that the launch on Tuesday was to test advanced combat equipment of intercontinental ballistic missiles, leaving it unclear what kind of missile was used. It went on to say that the launch proved the new strategic missile system's circuit design and technical solutions were adequate. Putin announced in February that a new type of intercontinental ballistic missile would be deployed this year, despite reports from the United States that the weapon had recently failed a test. Putin has said that Russia's next-generation missiles are invincible, and one of them is the Sarmat, which has been dubbed Satan II by Western analysts. Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, president of Brazil, left for China on Tuesday to forge closer ties with his country's largest trading partner and gain backing for his long-shot effort to broker peace in Ukraine. Lula has proposed ending the conflict by having Brazil, China, and other countries mediate, but his ideas have angered Ukraine and some in the West. Trade between Brazil and China is of less controversy now than it was during Lula's predecessor. The Brazilian government has stated that during Lula's 2-day stay, at least 20 bilateral agreements will be signed between China and Brazil. On Friday, Lula will meet with his Chinese counterpart, Xi Jinping, during a visit to Shanghai and Beijing. According to the Brazilian government, the two leaders will meet to discuss trade, investment, reindustrialization, energy transition, climate change, and peace agreements. Soybeans, beef, iron ore, poultry, pulp, sugarcane, cotton, and crude oil are all exported to China in the tens of billions of dollars annually. According to official Chinese media, Brazil has received more Chinese investment than any other country in Latin America. Jair Bolsonaro, Brazil's president from 2019 to 2022, and his family occasionally butted heads with Chinese authorities. The Chinese ambassador to Brazil called Eduardo Bolsonaro's statement blaming the COVID-19 pandemic on the Chinese Communist Party an evil insult against China and the Chinese people in 2020. The Chinese embassy strongly reprimanded Eduardo later that year after he referred to the massive Chinese technology company Huawei as Chinese espionage. For 8 months of the previous year, China did not have an ambassador in Brasilia. The schism has been widely criticized in Brazil, including by pro-Bolsonaro groups like the agricultural industry. I want the Chinese to know that they would be very much appreciated here in the form of investment, but not in the form of purchases of our businesses. To create something new, which is what we require, Lula told reporters in Brasilia on April 6. Public works projects in Brazil, such as a metro line in the country's commercial capital of São Paulo, involve Chinese companies. As part of a binational program, Lula will sign an agreement with China to fund the construction of a 6th satellite that will be used to monitor biomes like the Amazon rainforest.